easier to just say, just can only put one. But the code book is like that. It's written by lawyers, it's written by engineers. I have a feeling they're paid by the amount of words that they put in there. So you know what? When you're reading your code book, usually people that English is not their first language usually do better in code. If it's your first language, you read it and you automatically think that. But you need to read it. Careful when you're reading your code book. We're going to be doing box fills and all that, and you're going to mess up the wording on it. You're going to question, but that's what it means. I go, no, read it again. So somebody's second language, we'll read it very thoroughly and try to understand it. So don't let it fool you. So, oh, there's another thing. Another trick. If I say something more than 3 times or 3 times, guess what? It will be on your test. So sometimes I do it on purpose and I'll say it 3 times. Shall be compulsory. I said that 3 times. And guess what? You're going to see it on one of your tests. It's something that's important. Testing, accreditation. We need stickers. We did some stuff for Club Coffee. Kathleen Wynne gave us, I don't know how many millions of dollars to revamp it. The K-Cups and all that, when they first started coming out, they gave us money to revamp this one facility. We have equipment that's coming from Germany. Germany is known for their engineering. They're awesome. But we couldn't use the same cables that they used. According to our code book says we have to use this type of cable. Even though their cable was fine, but we can't use it. Because they want us to be the same all the way through Canada. So we get approvals, we get stickers, testing, accreditation. Canadian Standard Association, one of our biggest. ESA, of course, they're the ones who do the testing. Electrical Safety Authority. Is there Underwriter? We'll probably come around to it. There's so many, Underwriter laboratories. We see that on brand new equipment. Sometimes we get equipment that has to be accredited from other countries. Then we have other symbols we can use. Standard Council of Canada. A lot of these ones we'll see. Canadian Standard Association. Great company to work for. We did some retrofit for one of their facilities. One of their facilities, they have a room, testing room, and another room surrounding it. They take things and they blow them up. They put a lot of electricity to them, or whatever they need to do, and they get to test it. It's really cool. Kind of nerve-wracking if you're standing there waiting for it to blow up, or you watch it catch on fire. Great job. One of my buddies worked for them. And they definitely make sure things are good. Home Depot, 10 years ago, brought out this strip. It's thin copper. You put it on the wall, and it connects to the receptacle, and you put a cover, and then another box here, and you put a light, and then you just kind of put a skim coat of compound on it, and it works perfectly until you're stupid enough to put a nail through it. They took that off the market real fast. I guess they found out there's a lot of stupid people. You put something like that, and the wire's exposed. Why? I can't believe that it even actually got onto the market. So we're going to remember what that stands for. Canadian Standard Association. CSA. Guess what? You'll probably see that one again. Underwriter Laboratory of Canada. That's the ones that also do the testing, certifications. You'll see that. Canadian Electrical Code. Canadian Electrical Code is all of Canada. You will use the electrical code, Canadian Electrical Code, when you're doing federal governments. But if you're doing stuff in Ontario, you will use the Ontario electrical code. It's this book plus some. Out in the Maritimes, they have their own. Why? Because they have other issues. They have salt water, they have whatever. We don't have that problem here. We might have problems with farming. There might be a lot of issues with farming. Some provinces, there's a bunch of provinces that have one for themselves, like a bunch of the provinces, they're all similar. But the coasts are different from the center. So we have our own. So once you get your license, you may not use this. You might use the Ontario code. But it's still, the Ontario code book is that plus. We talk about inspections. We have a rough-in inspection where we're just putting in all the boxes. When we put the boxes in, we put the ground in first, and the other wires are loose. Always have to ground all your devices. 3 wires. Let's go with that. 3 wires. Your black, your white, and your ground. What is your most important wire? Ground. Thank you. So, and then the next one, when we're installing neutral, then your live. Let's say, okay, we put in our ground first, then we put in our. This is actually on mine, and I'm going to videotape it for you. Okay, just thought I'd tell you. You get to hear me again if you like. So let's do it the opposite way. We're going to do our live wire first. So we do our live wire first, and we get electrocuted, or we get a shock. Okay, so now we're going to do our neutral. We're probably going to get shocked again because it's live now, right? What's going to stop you from getting from the third time? Really? So that's why we work the other way. Always check. So we have a rough-in inspection. The inspector comes in and says, yeah, you can close it up. And then we have a final inspection, which is our connection permit. Then they say hydro, we'll say, okay, we'll turn on the power. Rough-in, the beginning, and final inspection. Final inspection, rough-in. Remember those. I did some work again. You get put on it's called a certain list. If you've done enough of these and hydros come in or ESAs come in, a lot of times I remember doing a job, we had done 1 phase, all exposed, and then we did the second phase. The second phase, my inspector said, can I come in for 5 o'clock? Yeah, usually we start at 5:30, but I'll come in a little bit early, half an hour. I go, what kind of coffee do you want? So it comes in, had the coffee waiting for us. You guys are the ones that did the first phase? I go, yeah. He goes, and you guys did this one? He goes, yeah. He goes, signed off and he walked in. Wasn't there for more than 10 minutes. Because we've done so much work for them, and we've never screwed up. You can even look. If you have one cover, maybe a missing cover, 1 wire hanging out, of course. If they find 1 mistake, they're going to go through the whole thing. They get paid the hour, they don't care. And they're going to find it. Don't ever argue with an inspector unless you really can prove him wrong or her wrong. And then that's kind of gutsy too. If you know, I think you mean this, right, sir? If you're just going to be an idiot about it, he's going to make sure he's going to find everything wrong. And they're pretty good. They're pretty knowledgeable. They have to be. So remember there's different types of inspections. Units, we usually metric. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, we were being phased out. We were leaving the Imperial to go to metric. And that was, what, 30-something years ago? And we're still doing it, trying to get away from it. If I ask you, how much do you weigh? What are you going to tell me? Kilos? You can tell me pounds? What are you going to tell me? Pounds. Oh. And how tall are you? Yeah, see, there you go. And yet we still teach metric, right? So I'm not making fun of you, but that's how it is, right? If you go to Home Depot and they have a sale on measuring tapes, and there's 1 set of measuring tapes that are really cheap, it's probably just Imperial, probably just in inches. I like the one that has inches and metric. and the 16 inches offsets on it. But I mean, but you gotta have all of it. I think you gotta have all of it because you never know what you got. So we got metric, we got the American standard. We got different types of units, meters. We will talk about volume in our boxes. Well, we're going to have watts. We're going to have volts, amperage. We're going to have a whole bunch of them. You're going to see that as you go on. You're going to see that in also your theory class. Conversions, they're actually inside your code book. I'll show you how, they'll tell you what the conversions are. In the code book, it talks about all in metric. So a 1/2 inch conduit is 16 millimeters, and 3/4, so on. Unfortunately, everything's still sold in 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, whatever. But we'll figure that one out. We look at our measuring tape. We need to know a little bit about it. I know we don't like it, but we do. You don't have to buy those scales if you don't want. I'm not going to make you guys buy it. It's nice to have when you're scaling off stuff.
Scale, sir?
A scale. They're tri-scale. It's 3.
Oh.
Actually, it's 6. It's a triangle, but it has different scales on it. And there's so many different types. There's metric. We only need the metric one if you want it. Like the scales of 1 to 200, 1 to 100, 1 to 50, 1 to 500. I could ask you, how much is it from here to here? In one of your questions. I could ask you exactly how much is that on your measuring tape. Because you're going to work with someone that's old school. My foreman goes, oh, we were putting in some weird receptacle communication. He goes, yeah, just put it around there. I go, I look at the drawing and I go, it says 750. Yeah, isn't it around here? I go, 750. That's millimeters, about here. Oh, we never put receptacles there. I know, but on the drawing it wants there. Thank God we put it there because of the cabinet that went in there, and we needed the receptacle on top. Old school, I'm kind of torn in between. You're going to do this also in your theory. Kilo, we look at kilo, we look at milli, maybe nano in your other classes. But for us, might be kilo, maybe some mega. We might have some kind of unit stuff. Conduit size, 16 mil for 1/2 inch, for 1 inch, 27 millimeters, measured from the inside, not the outside. We get up to conduit 4 inches, and you get into 6 inches. Some of it's bendable with different machines. If you guys struggle bending 1/2 inch conduit, you are welcome to join me. You can go to the gym, you can work out, you can build up that strength. 1/2 inch is really easy. It's how you do it. The biggest I think you can go to is 1 1/4 inch. It's with a big one, and it's going to step. And if you don't have the right technique, and at least some weight to it, you can't bend that. Right. But there are machines that bend it for us. If you've got a good company, we had one bender, you program it and it bends it for you exactly the way you want. I'm like, oh man. And I'm looking at it, it's like, how do you turn it on? We have some benders whose bending are 4 inch, and it looks like a press and bends it bends this way. And there's no degrees on it, it's about inches, and you have to calculate it. All my partner and I did was calculate. 1 inch is this much, bend this. I mean, we had to first test and make sure it was calibrated right. Once we got it, it was easy. But you get to use some of your mathematics. One more. Unless you want to look at the prints. Okay, this is going to bother some of you. American wire gauge is the size of your wire. 20 American wire gauge is smaller than 8. Yeah. Why? No.
Just wondering, does this coincide with, like, if you know piercing gauges, the sizes, the exact same thing? Are they the same sizes? Like, if I had a 0 earring, is that gonna be the same, or a 14 gauge, would it be the same as?
You know what a zero? You know what a zero is?
Well, this is a 14, and it looks damn near.
This is a
14
zero.
wire. Yeah, yeah.
That's about a zero.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you put a zero in your ear?
Correlate. No,
Oh,
not
okay.
me, but I know the sizes, I'm saying
Okay.
correlate.
I think that's how they're supposed to go. Yeah. That's how the wires are supposed to be measured. I wasn't sure if they actually went with that with the piercings. I haven't had piercings in a long time, so I don't know. No, really, I did,
I
but.
think it, yeah.
So let's try to get this straight, because I know it's gonna be a pain. So 20 is really small. Usually in residential, 14 American wire gauge is the smallest for electrical. I'm not talking about your buzzards and your bells and that. I'm talking regular 120 voltage. 20 or 12 is for bigger stuff. And then your oven, your dryer. And then so let's look at the numbers. 20 is the biggest, the smallest, biggest number. If you look at according to this actually tells you how big it is. Circular mills. We get to 1, and it's almost the size of this. And then we really mess it up. Then we start off with this. This is called 1/0. It is not 1 divided by 0. What is 1 divided by 0? Infinity? Ask her, she'll tell you. It's infinity. How many zeros can go into 1? Unlimited. She's the smart one. I'm not. So this is 1/0. This is also 1/0. 1 0. Sometimes we do this. Not to be mistaken with this. This is a phase. This is a